which is being paid to the employees when they are giving their man-hours to the organization. That is the basic pay, or the nominal, which will be equal to each and everybody, or which might be nominal to each and everybody. Compulsory pay we can call them as. Basic pay can be also termed as compulsory pay. So in this, the compulsory pay, the basic salary is the compulsory pay which is being given to the employees by the employer, taking into consideration the man hours. So that is the basic salary. This is the most important common component in the pay. The second one is the allowances. Now, when we talk about allowances, we can talk about the government sector more, because the government sector, the employees who are working in the government sector, they will be having more benefits compared to the private sector. When we talk about these allowances in the government sector, we come across the allowances are of many. There are dearness allowance, we can say house rent allowance, and there are so many allowances which are being paid to the employees. A house rent allowance or the dearness allowance which are being decided, we can say house rent allowance which is being allotted to the employees, where the government only pays them the house rent. So like that, there are allowances, dearness allowance and house rent allowances. Now, what is this dearness allowance? Dearness allowance is a small percentage of income which is being paid to the government employees. Either they might be the central government or the state government employees, to meet the demands of the present scenario, to meet the standard of living of the present scenario. This is an allowance which is being paid to the government employees. Then the third one is the benefits. Now, basic salary is one component which is being paid to each and every employee, calculating the man hours. Second one is the allowances. Allowance is an next important one, where allowances are paid to the employees, taking into consideration their qualifications, their service to the organization, and their capabilities or the extra skills, whatever they are performing. So allowances are being given to them. And the other one is the benefits. Benefits are also, the benefits are being paid to the employees who get after the retirement, or we can say. Because benefits can be stated as the social security also, where the employees will be getting the main important benefits. We can term them as the provident fund, gratuity, pension. All these are the benefits which are being given to the government employees. So the next is pay commissions in India. Now, what are these pay commissions, and why do we need these pay commissions? Now, pay commissions is a body which is being constituted by the government to take care of the salaries of the government employees. Means from time to time, how much increase have to be made, how much increments have to be given, what have to be calculated, the pay scales, everything has to be considered based on the scenario, the economic scenario, whatever is prevailing. So this pay commission, that body is known as pay commission, and this is being chaired by a chairman, and which calculates or which decides we can say it recommends the changes in the salary structures based on the scenario. And the first pay commission which was constituted and which has submitted its report is in the year 1947. The first pay commission was in the year 1947. And presently, we are in the 7th pay commission. Presently, we are in the 7th pay commission, and it has submitted its report in the 2016. And we are now presently all the government employees, whatever they are getting, the salaries are being calculated as per the 7th pay commission. So this are, we can say, this pay components, principles of pay and pay commissions constitute a pay is the remuneration which is being paid to the employee by the employer calculating his man hours. That is known as a pay, or a pay is also termed as salary, remuneration, compensation. All these are the terminologies used, and the components and the principles of pay are, they are the principles. We can term them as equal pay for equal work, parity between what is what is being paid. All these can be termed as the principles. And the pay commission, the first is the structure which recommends the pay structure for the government employees. Either it might be the central government or the state governments. This is all about the pay and pay components. Then the second one, we'll talk about the compensation management, rewards and compensation management. Either it might be compensation, or it might be a reward, it might be an allowance, it might be a pay. All these are termed as incentives. What do you understand by the term incentive? Incentive is a perk, or incentive is a motivation, monetary motivation, which is being given to the employee by the employer, recognizing his skills, his capabilities and everything, just to tell the employee that you are worth of it, because they are giving their man hours. That is, man hours means they are giving their time, their energy, their physical stress, mental stress, everything is being given by them. So that is, we can term them as the rewards or the incentives. Now coming to the compensation management. Now what is this compensation management? Compensation management is, compensation refers to all the forms of financial rewards received by employees of an organization. Compensation refers to all forms of financial rewards received by the employees of an organization. So now, whatever the compensations which are being given to the employees can be termed as compensation or the incentives. Now, they can be this compensation management. Compensation management means management of the remuneration, either in the perspective of the employer or as well as the employee. Because now compensation management means what it is the managing the monetary or the managing the money which is being paid and which is being taken. Because, for example, a person who is working in an organization, he is an employee to that organization. So he has to know what he is getting, whatever the salary or perks or incentives, whatever he is being getting, he has to have a clear, thorough picture of it. In the same time, the employer also, the management also should also have a clear picture of what is being given to the employee. How much is being paid, when it is paid, how it is paid, how many of them are being paid, what is the calculation which is being made. All this has to be decided. Hence, compensation management involves two important factors. They are the employees and the employers. Now, coming to the components of pay, the components of pay, components of compensation. There are two types of compensations. That is direct compensation and indirect compensation. Now, what is this direct compensation? Direct compensation is the benefit or is the monetary type of benefit, means paying the employee money, monetary benefit. It might be the salary, it might be, we can say, paying them the allowances which are directly in the form of money. There can be monetary benefits. Direct compensation is the monetary benefits which are being received by the employees from the employers. So that is the direct compensation. Now the second one is indirect compensation. Indirect compensation is in terms of the other than the monetary benefits. Other than the monetary benefits means it might be insurance, LTC, or these might be termed as indirect house rent allowances. All these are the indirect compensations because they are not being paid to the employee directly. The money is not being paid to the employee directly, but it is indirect compensation is either, I can term them as taking care of the employees. Taking care of the employees can be termed as indirect compensation. So in this, we can term them as insurance, because we come across in many companies and in the government sector also, there are so many insurances, that is family insurance, employee families insurance. Why? Because if anything untoward happens to the employee, the family has to get some benefit and they have to be taken care of by the company or the government. So this is, we can say this is a type of social security also. So insurance. Then the second type of indirect compensation is travel concession. Leave travel concession. This leave travel concession is being paid to the employees who are working in the government sector. Now, what is this? This is a type of benefit which is being given to the employees where they can travel to their hometown or to their any of the vacation. For vacation also they can go, and where the travel expenses will be paid or will be paid by the government or the organization only. So these are the concessions which are being given to the employees, which will be we can say that these benefits are being beneficial, or these benefits are being taken. We can come across mostly in the government sector only. Most of them, in many of the private organizations, we don't come across these benefits. So only the salary or allowances are being taken care of. So these are the two types of compensation, components of compensation, that is direct compensation and indirect compensation. Now, next we will talk about the module 4, that is performance appraisal and competency mapping system. Now, what is this performance appraisal? Performance appraisal is referred to as performance review or performance evaluation and performance feedback. So, performance appraisal can be also referred to as performance review, performance evaluation, and performance feedback. Now, in simple terms, what is performance appraisal? Performance appraisal is a report card of each and every employee which the organization gets at end of one financial year. Now, what does it mean? Now, we come across many times in schools and colleges, in institutions, where there are being exams are conducted, and at the end, after writing the end exams, the students will be getting their progress report or progress card, we call them as. In that, the student will come to know how much he learned from the that course. How much did he know from that course, which will help him to analyze, to have a view on what did he study and what are the how much he is lagging behind and how much he has to improve in the coming years. All this he has to come across. So this is, so performance appraisal. Likewise, in the organizations or in the government or sectors also, the employees, when they join the organization, from the time when they join, the organization will have an eye on their performance. That is, how many leaves did they take, how much work they are performing, how many skills they are executing, what are the extra capabilities of them, how they are performing. All these are being taken care of, and these each and everything. Now, communication. Now, each and in the organization, how the employee is communicating, how with the employees and with the fellow employees, and how he is getting the things done. That is also very, very important. So we can say that this also helps the organization to improve its, we can say, to know, to evaluate who is working for the organization and who is not working for the organization, which also helps them to analyze the performance of the employees. So each and every employee, through this performance appraisal, each and every employee's performance is evaluated, analyzed, and based on these performances and evaluation and the analysis, these employees will be placed in the next year. That is, whether based on their performance levels only, they can be either they have to be paid more salary, or they have to be given promotion, or they have to be continued in the same position, or either they have to be shown the door. That is, just to throw them out of the organization. Because with this only, the organization will come to know the performance of because now, how can we just say that this performance appraisal is important to the organization? If we raise a question, then we can say that yes, it is important for the organization to go for performance appraisal or performance evaluation. Because now, if the company does not go for this, then the employees will not show loyalty towards the organization, and they will not show loyalty towards the work what they are performing, and they will also not show interest in the work. They will just come and go out in the organization, and for that the organization will have to pay them huge salaries. So we can say that through this performance appraisal, the employees as well as the employers will get to know the performance, the capabilities, the inner strengths, the skills of the employees. Where in terms of employees, they will know that where they are standing. If they are not getting promotion, means they will decide that yes, I am performing, I am showing underperformance, so I have to show good performance in my work. With that, what happens? Then the organization will pay me good amount of salary or will give me good perks. And in the perspective of the employer, the employer will get to know that how the employees are working, how many are really working for the organization, how many are just coming and just wasting their time in the organization, And the third important one is they will get a clear picture that how many have to be kept in the organization and how many of them have to be shown the door, that is, who are not worthy of the organization. That just this we can term as weeding away the employees from the organization. So this is also a very important aspect in the context. Now coming to the now when we talk about these performance appraisals, we say about work-related objectives. Now what are these work-related objectives? Work-related objectives are, now for conducting a performance appraisal, there are some norms to be followed or objectives to be followed. In that, the first one is the work-related objectives. Work-related objectives consist, what are it explain? It explains us that to provide control. Now the employer should have a control on the employees. Then only the employees will have they will have a clear understanding that yes, the employer is having a clear picture on us, or he is having a control on us, whether whatever the performance we are giving out, it is being calculated. So just to have a clear control on the work of the employees, the organization has to have this to provide a control. Then the second one is to carry on job evaluation. Now what is the job evaluation? Job evaluation means it is evaluating the job, what is being done, what has to be done, and what can be done. That is known as job evaluation. Evaluating what is being done, what is the past, present, and future of the work done has to be calculated. That is known as job evaluation. And the third important one we can say is to improve efficiency. To improve the efficiency of the workers, this job performance or the performance appraisal has to be done in the organizations, because if it is being done only, then the employees will be in check. Because if they are not being seen, then they might do whatever they wish to. If they are not being able to perform all the activities in the stipulated time, then the performance will come down. The organization's performance will come down. The organization might see losses in the organization might see losses. So just to have a clear understanding about the employees, who is actually performing, who is really showing loyalty towards the work, who is really interested in performing the activities, whatever has been assigned to him, all this, when these are being taken into consideration, then only the performance appraisal can be carried out in a very fruitful manner. Then coming to the second important objectives, that is the career-related objectives. Through the performance appraisal, the employees also can also get a clear picture of their career. That because in each individual, the career is very important. Where they are standing tomorrow, from where they have to move to. They cannot, each employee, whenever they are working in the organization, they cannot say that we have to be stagnant at one place. No, they have to move from one position to the other position. So there should be a career-related objectives also. In this career-related objectives, we can have the what might be the objectives of the employees that are to provide adequate feedback on performance. That is, if the employees get a correct feedback on their performance, which is being given by the employer, then he will also know that how much he can increase his potential, he can work on his potential, his capabilities, his inner strengths. Because if he is unable to, then he might not be able to work, or he might not be able to get into the work directly, or he might not be able to move forward into the organization from one position to the other position. So career related is also very, very important. Based on this career related objectives only, the employees will be getting a clear picture of how they are performing in the organization and how much skills they have to get, how much they have to go for better aspects, or they have to learn more. Everything has to be calculated. Then the third one is in the performance appraisal is communication related objectives. Now, communication, as we all know, is the best tool of getting the things done. Why? Because what is communication? Communication can be termed as an interaction between two persons, verbal interaction, or it might be non-verbal also. Verbal is interaction between one face-to-face, one-on-one, or through a phone or anything, that is a verbal communication. Non-verbal communication can be through letters, through mails, all these can be non-verbal communications. So now through this communication, they will be getting, the employers will be getting a feedback from the employees. Vice versa, we can say. Now, and many times we come across that the employer will be taking the feedback from the employees. That is the employees' feedback. How they are performing, are they performing, are they showing underperformance, should they improve? How should they perform their activities? All this has to be taken care of. So the communication related objectives, we can say that this helps the organization to move forward, because it helps the organization when they are understanding the feedback, when they take up, when they take care of the communication, when they take the feedback of the employees, the organization also will know that how the employees are performing, whom to be placed where, because with this feedback only, with this performance appraisal only, the employees will get, the employer will get to know whom to be promoted, whom to be demoted, or whom to be kept in the same position, or whom to be paid more salaries, or on all these, or paid more incentives. On all these aspects, they can be taken into considerations. So performance appraisal is a very important tool, we can say, which helps the organization in terms of HRM, or in terms of aspects of where the organization will get to know a feedback, or will get to know who is actually working for the organization and who is just wasting their time in the organization. Through this performance appraisal, they can weed away the non-performance or underperforming employees from the organization. We can take vice versa also, that is, we can take employees as well as the employers. At times we come across the employees are also being given a questionnaire, or with the employees are also being given, we can say that the employees are also being asked questions on the employers. That is, whether the management is giving them good salaries, whether the management is taking care of them, whether all these aspects can be termed as in the performance appraisal. Then coming to the methods of performance appraisal. The methods of performance appraisal are, there are two types of methods, that is traditional methods and modern methods. In the traditional methods, there are 5 important traditional methods. The first is the easy review method, second straight ranking method, third paired comparison method, fourth checklist method, fifth is graphic rating method. Then in this traditional methods, we come across these as a easy review method. Now, what is this easy review method? Easy review is just the employees randomly, based on their way of how they are performing by looking at them. These are all the traditional methods. These are all the traditional methods where the easy review method is seeing the employee, how he is working. With that only, the organization will come to a conclusion that yes, he is performing very well. So based on that only, they can be ranked or they can be given promotions or demotions. Then the second one is straight ranking method. Straight ranking method is where the employees are being given based on their rank, that is seeing them straight away that this person is good, so we can give them. These are all different types of traditional methods which may not be helpful in the present scenario. But another important, in the traditional methods, I would like to talk on one important method, that is the graphic rating method. Graphic rating method is a traditional method, and as well as we can term them as a modern method also. Now, in this graphic rating method, it is employees' quality and quality of work. Employees' quality and quality of work is being assessed in an graphic scale. Means a graph is being drawn, and on that, the employee's name and the quality of work of that employee, that is the employee's quality, how he is performing, as well as the quality, the outcome, whatever he has done. But both of them have to be, both of these are being put on a graph scale, and with that only the employee's performance is calculated. Now, the next important method in the performance appraisal is the modern methods. In the modern methods, the first one is management by objectives. Second is 360-degree appraisal. Third one is assessment centers. Fourth is behaviorally anchored rating scales. And in this only, there are many types of questionnaires, interviews, all these can be taken into considerations. Management by objectives. Management by objectives is, it can be termed as a goal setting. Now, when the organization sets a goal, and when each employee strives to achieve that goal in the stipulated time, based on the time and the work, the organization decides the performance of that employee. So it helps the organization, it helps the organization in getting the things done in a very calculative manner. We can say that the organization is the organization helps them to attain or helps them to reach more profits. So that is the management by objectives. Then the second one is 360-degree appraisal. 360-degree appraisal means the overall performance of the employee. That is, at what time he is coming, at what time he is living, in that going away from the organization, then in the work hours, how many in the work hours, the quality of work he is doing, and how the behavior of him, the understanding between the communication, cooperation, coordination with the co-workers, and his understanding levels, his capabilities, his skills, everything is calculated. This is known as 360-degree appraisal. Then the third one is assessment centers. Assessment centers help the organization. The assessment centers help the organization where they assess the employees based on them. We come across this, that in the assessment, the employees' qualification, age, everything is taken into consideration. The manoeuvres, the capabilities, the skills, the outcome, everything is being calculated. That is a assessment center, where these assessment centers calculate the performance of the employees. Then the fourth one is the BARS, that is behaviorally anchored rating scales. Now, this is a graphic rating scale. This consists of graphic rating scale as well as critical incidence method. Critical incidence method, that is, a graph can be drawn on calculating the performance of the employee, that is the quality of work done and the work what is being assigned to him, the time taken and the outcome. All this can be calculated through a graph. Then the critically incidence method, that is, when an assignment is being given to him, how nicely, how effectively he is performing in the work. That is also important. That this is all about the performance appraisal. Now coming to the competency mapping system. Competency mapping system. Now what is competency? Competency is the inner skill or ability of an employee. Okay. Now, the competency is the behavior, or rather than a skill or an ability of an employee. Through his behavior, the employee will show his capability or skill. That is only his competency. Now, what is competency mapping? Based on this capability, based on his behavior, the organization will evaluate the performance of his and will come to a conclusion that how that employee is performing, how that employee can be calculated, and through that the organization can, through this competency mapping system, the organization can get a desired results. So the competency mapping system, we can define or we can explain it as it is a capacity that exists in persons that leads to behavior that meets the job demands within parameters of organizational environment, and in turn brings about desired results. That is, the inner capacity means the inner capabilities of the employees, whoever are working in the organization, based on their capabilities, which will help them the organize, and which will be within the parameters of the organization's environment. Means if a person is put in a room and that is an environment for him, in that environment, how nicely that employee performs with his inner capabilities and inner strengths or inner skills, and how he comes out with that is known as competency mapping system. Now, in this regard, we can also say that in this competency mapping system, there are some methods of competency mapping system. As we were talking in the performance appraisal, the performance appraisal's continuation, we can say this is competency mapping system. In this, as I explained you about the assessment center. Assessment center is a center or a body which assesses or which calculates, which evaluates the performance of each and every employee of the organization. The work of this center is only to assess the performance of the employees. Then the second is the critical incidence technique. Critical incidence technique is the uses data gathering and analysis to identify job-specific behavior. Job-specific behavior. Then the third one is interviewing. Now, when the employer interviews an employee, when an employer interviews an employee, now what is interviewing? What is an interview? It is a formal interview, is a formal face-to-face interaction to get the rightful information for the organization about the employee. So through this interviewing, in the competency mapping, interviewing also helps, or we can say competency mapping, interviewing can be termed as a very, very important tool for the organization or for the employees to analyze the employees, to assess the employees, their performance, their we can say their intentions, their skills, their capabilities, their outcomes, everything can be calculated. So we can say that interviewing is a very, very important tool which can be used, or a method which can be used by each and every organization, whereby they can get a clear picture of what is to be done. Means through interview, the organization will get a thorough and a clear picture about the employee, the drawbacks of the employee, or the advantages of the employee, or the inner capabilities. Through this interview method, the employer can extract the rightful information of the employee. Then the next one is in the competency mapping system. The next important method is questionnaire. Now, what is this questionnaire? Questionnaire is a set of questions which can be written in a written format, or can be in a oral format also, where this questionnaire will be given to the employees for filling purpose. Through this, what happens is the employee will give a rightful information which he may not be able to give in the interview. Through this question, so we can say that the most important advantage of this questionnaire is, in many cases, the organizations will get a clear picture of the employees, because through this questionnaire, the employee can question or can answer or give his opinion to the employee about what are his views, opinions, suggestions, or anything to be anything, whatever he feels. Through this, what happens? The organization will get to know about the employees and their inner strengths, their capabilities, everything can be drawn to. Means the organization can get into a conclusion through this questionnaire. Now coming to the psychometric test. Now what are these psychometric tests? Now the psychometric tests are not being conducted in many of the organizations, but in few organizations where confidential works are being conducted, or where there is a threat of anything, threat of any leaking information, or at a higher levels when their employees are being trained, then this because through this psychometric test, the organization will know the mindset of the employee, the strength, the strength, or we can say the mental stress, the mental ability of the mind ability, the thinking capacity, or the analysis, how quickly the employee can analyze the things, can take decisions, can. Now, when we take up the psychometric test, we can term them as in the police personnel or investigating teams, or in wherever there are confidential works. All this at these times only, this psychometric tests are being conducted. Now, whereby the employers will be getting a clear picture about the employee, the mental status. I can term this as through this psychometric test, the employees will be getting to know the mental status of the employees, because the mental status at times and in many of the organizations, there is where this mental status of the employees is very, very important, because through this, if the employee is unable to perform well in decision making or in quick decision making, then the organization might have to lose many things, or it might have lose some confidential informations also. So it is very important for the organization to keep to have a clear picture of what has to be done, when it has to be done, how it has to be done. So this can be termed as a performance competency mapping system. So we can say that this matters a lot in the organization. These all methods are very, very important for the organization to achieve the organization goals. We can say that through this performance appraisal, the organization will get to know, or will be able to get, and when we conclude, or when we say that what is this performance appraisal or competency mapping system, we can say that through this competency mapping system, or through this, it is all about we can say selecting the right person for the right job or at the right time, where through this performance appraisal also, the organization will be getting, or the organization will be getting the people, or will be getting the employees who are underperforming or who are unable to perform. So we can say that this organization helps the employees in coming together. Now, this performance appraisal and competency mapping system helps the organization to get better employees who can show their capabilities, come out with their inner skills, and which will help in the organization to get its desired results. So it is very important for the organization to get all the ultimately, whether it might be the government organization or a private organization, the ultimate goal is about the getting the desired results or achieving the desired results. So in HRM, in human resource management, performance appraisal and competency mapping system play a very, very important role, because through this only the human resources can be calculated. Means human resource, as we all know, that human resource is an energy which can be utilized again and again. So through this performance appraisal, when the organization will get to know the performance of the employee, then they can use the skill of that employees, their capabilities of their employees in a better manner, and they can place them in a better positions also, or they can move to the higher positions also, or they can also be given higher confidential works also. So we can say that this competency mapping system and performance appraisal helps the organization in calculating, evaluating, analyzing the performance of the employees. Now coming to the incentive management also, the incentive management also helps. Now, incentive management and the performance management, both of them, we can term them as an important tools of the organization, whereby, or we can say that through these two tools only, the human resource management can be performed in a better manner. Because if the organization wants to achieve the targets or wants to achieve then the organization should take care of the employees by providing them good monetary benefits, like paying them good salaries, good remunerations, giving them better benefits, and giving them, we can say, paying them allowances, taking care of them through insurance and all these aspects. Then we can also rewarding them by to their performances. If an employee is working and excelling in his work, then he has to be rewarded through an incentive or a non-monetary benefit or a monetary benefit. And at times we can also say that non-monetary benefits, just a tap at a back, saying or giving him telling that you have performed very well in front of everybody. That is also a very, very good recognition, which can be considered as a non-monetary benefit, which will help the organization to perform very well, or it will help the organization to reach to the higher targets. So today, in today's class, we discussed about the performance of the incentive management. In the incentive management, we discussed about pay components, principles of pay commissions, and the second one was rewards and compensation administration or compensation management. In that, we discussed about what are the incentives or what are the direct compensation, indirect compensations, and what are the benefits which the employee is getting. And also in the third topic, we discussed about the performance appraisal, that is a report card which is being given to the employee by the employer, by evaluating the performance of the employee. And in the last one, competency it is the behavior of the, or rather than we can term them the inner ability or the competency of the employee. So there is all this, in today's class, we discussed all these topics. Thank you.